This is Committee on Rules. We have attained a quorum with Council President Clark, Councilman Heenan, Councilwoman Blackwell appointed to committee, and Councilman Taubenberger. For the record, Bill number 180973, which deals with remapping in Point Breeze. If anybody's here, that bill will not be held today. At the request of the sponsor, it will be held to the call of the chair. So 180973 held to the call of the chair. Ms. Marconi, will you please read the title of the first bill before us?
Bill number 190016, an ordinance to amend the Philadelphia zoning maps by changing the zoning designations of certain areas of land located within an area bounded by Stanton Avenue, Shelton Avenue, Broad Street, Wyndham Avenue, Belfield Avenue, and Worcester Street.
Mr. Gregorski, before you start, Council President Clark.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, thank you. I just wanted to just briefly say, again, hello to our wonderful residents from the Fishtown community and the St. Laurentius community for coming down and fighting the good fight as it relates to being able to save the church. I just want to commend you all for all the work you've done. Very proud to have played a very, very small role, but just wanted to, for the record, thank you, and look for the support of my colleagues, which I'm sure, based on earlier conversations, we'll get. So, guys, thank you for coming down. We'll get you on short order. Thank you.
You were very persuasive, sir. So.
I try, sir. I try.
And we'll be getting to that bill shortly. We have a few bills that should go relatively quickly.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Thank you, sir.
hang in there.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
All right. Thank you, Council President. Mr. Gregorski. Morning.
Members of the Rules Committee, I'm Marty Gregorski, Division Director with the Development Division of the Philadelphia City Planning Commission, and I'm here to testify on Bill number 190016, which was introduced in the City Council on January 24th of this year by Councilmember Bass. Bill number 190016 amends the Philadelphia zoning maps by changing the zoning designations in the area described. This change remaps blocks of single-family row homes from RM1 residential multifamily to RSA 5 single-family residential attached. It consolidates commercial zoning to activate corridors and nodes, replaces all the industrial zoning with appropriate residential or commercial zoning, and remaps Parks and Recreation Center to the SPPOA with a Parks and Open Space. These changes to the zoning maps were recommended in the 2016 Upper North District Plan. Philadelphia City Planning Commission considered Bill number 190016 at its meeting of February 19th of this year and recommended it for approval, and I'd be happy to answer any questions at this time.
Thank you, sir. Any questions for Mr. Gregorski on this bill? Seeing none, is there anyone else here to testify on Bill 190016? Seeing none, thank you. Ms. Marconi, our next bill, please.
Bill number 19001, an ordinance to amend the master plan for Drexel University and to approve the proposed addition to 101 North 34th Street.
Thank you. Mr. Gregorski, please.
Morning, Chair Greenlee, members of the Rules Committee. I'm Marty Gregorski with the City Planning Commission. Bill number 190001 was introduced in the City Council on January 24th of this year by Councilmember Blackwell. Bill number 190001 amends the Philadelphia zoning code by amending the master plan district for Drexel University to approve the proposed addition to 101 North 34th Street. The building addition will expand its district occupied area by 4,503 square feet and its gross floor area by 10,778 square feet, both being very minor adjustments to the campus. The two-story addition will include housing and administrative functions for Drexel University honors students and staff. Philadelphia City Planning Commission considered Bill number 190001 at its meeting of February 19th of this year and recommended it for approval. I'd be happy to answer any questions at this time.
Thank you, sir. I know Councilwoman Blackwell, who's here, has sponsored the bill and is supportive. Any questions or comments? Seeing none. Anyone else here to testify on Bill number 190001? Seeing none, thank you. Ms. Marconi, our next bill, please.
Bill number 181064, an ordinance amending Title 14 of the Philadelphia Code entitled Zoning and Planning to revise certain provisions of Chapter 14-500 entitled Overlay Zoning Districts by amending the CDO, Central Delaware Riverfront Overlay District, to revise provisions relating to river access streets, all under certain terms and conditions.
Thank you. Mr. Gregorski.
Good morning, Chairman Greenlee, members of the Rules Committee. I'm Marty Gregorski with the Philadelphia City Planning Commission. I'm here to testify on Bill number 181064, which was introduced in the City Council on December 6, 2018 by Councilmember Squilla. This bill amends Title 14 of the Philadelphia Code entitled Zoning and Planning to revise certain provisions of Chapter 14-500 entitled Overlay Zoning Districts by amending the CDO Central Delaware Riverfront Overlay District to revise provisions relating to river access streets. The bill adds additional river access streets within the Central Delaware overlay as recommended by the master plan for the Central Delaware. The streets are Lehigh, Cumberland, Berks, Market, Chestnut, Walnut, South, Tasker, and Mifflin. Where a river access street, if extended, would intersect with the Delaware River, no permanent structure may be constructed within the right-of-way or of the extension of that street. And the following applies to lots with frontage on river access streets. Non-accessory surface parking lots are prohibited. Uses in the vehicle and vehicular equipment sales and services category are prohibited, except personal vehicle sales and rentals shall be permitted west of Delaware Avenue. One or more active uses shall occupy 75% of the length of such ground floor frontage. Philadelphia City Planning Commission considered Bill Number 181064 at its meeting of January 15th of this year and recommended it for approval. I'd also be happy to answer any questions at this time.
Thank you, sir. I notice Councilman Squilla is putting in an amendment. It looks like all it does is take out Lehigh Avenue?
It removes Lehigh Avenue.
Was there a particular reason for that?
Because it doesn't extend in a way that
Okay.
would be
Gotcha.
important.
Gotcha. Any questions for Mr. Gregorski on this bill? Seeing none, anyone else here to testify on Bill Number 191064? Seeing none, and that amendment will be offered at the meeting. Ms. Marconi, our next bill, please.
Bill number 190058, an ordinance to amend the Philadelphia zoning maps by changing the zoning designations of certain areas of land located within an area bounded by Burke Street, Memphis Street, Willett Street, and Tulip Street.
Thank you. Mr. Gregorski?
Good morning, Chairman Greeley, members of the Rules Committee. I'm Marty Gregorski with the Philadelphia City Planning Commission, here to testify on Bill Number 190058, which was introduced in the City Council on January 31st of this year by Councilmember Greenlee on behalf of Council President Clark. Bill Number 190058 amends the Philadelphia zoning maps by changing the zoning in an area bounded by Burke Street, Memphis Street, Willett Street, and Tulip Street. This bill changes the zoning of 1600 East Burke Street, the former St. Laurentius Roman Catholic Church, from RSA 5, single-family attached, to RM4, multifamily. The Council President's office requested this bill after receiving petitions from the residents of Fishtown. The proposal is for multifamily dwelling units within the former church structure. Philadelphia City Planning Commission considered Bill Number 190058 at its meeting of February 19th of this year and recommended it for approval, and I'd be happy to answer any questions at this time.
Thank you, sir. And I know there's been multiple meetings with the residents, and it appears that most, if not all, issues have been satisfied. Is that a fair statement?
I would hope so.
We hope so, too, yes. First, any questions for Mr. Gregorski on this bill? Seeing none. All right, I know there is a large amount of people who said they wanted to say something. Let me first ask, is there anyone here to testify against this bill? Against? All right, I see no hands go up. I think as the council president said, you folks all worked hard on this. It looks like everybody's sort of on the same page. We have another bill to come up after this, and I would ask that maybe instead of everybody testifying, we have a few people come up rather than everybody saying the same thing. Okay, I see some heads nodding. I hope that satisfies people. So with that all said, and again, it looks like the committee does not have a problem with this bill. Who still feels the need to testify? Who still wants to say something? All right, please, why don't you come up? The other people that raise their hand, please.
Anybody else?
Yoo-hoo! People that raise their hand, okay? The record will reflect Councilman Johnson, member of the committee, is present. All right, sitting there. Okay, the folks that came up so far, that's it as far as testifying? Okay, very good. Thank you very much for your cooperation. Please identify yourself and proceed.
Good morning, Councilman Greenlee and ladies and gentlemen. My name is Father Alfred Bradley. I'm the priest responsible for the Parish of Holy Name and the School of St. Lawrence's, a combined reality that involves this building. I believe that the hard work of the community and the unanimity that will bring peace to a controversial situation is the bill. It'll allow us to save the church and move forward with the building that continues to deteriorate in its present state. So I want to testify in favor of the bill.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Father. Thank you for all the work everybody's done. Mr. Mattioni, sir.
Michael Mattioni, I'm counsel for the parish, and I
Yes.
just want to again say we support this bill and appreciate the hard work of everybody in getting it to this point.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Young man, please identify yourself and proceed.
My name is, should I say my full name?
Okay?
My name is Trucker Zenon Vanstone, student of St. Laurentius School.
Okay. Go ahead.
Should I read this?
If you like, yes.
Good morning, City Council members. I am Trucker Vanstone, at a fifth grade student at St. Laurentius School. I am here, in my opinion, to not only speak about, but truly represent St. Laurentius School, which is located next to St. Laurentius Church in Fishtown. I am here to tell you how St. Laurentius School has been impacted by the zoning issues you are discussing today. Inside my school, it is a caring environment full of loving teachers and staff, and more than 175 children just like me in pre-K through 8th grade. Every day, my classmates and I enter the school in front of the church, and we often play in front of it during recess. When the pieces of our beloved St. Laurentius Church fell last month, I was playing inside at our after-school program, and our teachers moved us to safely into another area of the school. Moments later, my mom picked me up, and the damage was revealed. I was struck in awe, and I was sad that the church still could not get the help that it was needed to be repaired. The next few days we had off from school and did not really know whether we would be able to return to school again. Although many of my friends and I love a good snow day, this was different. It was a sad and confusing time. Like me, many of my classmates have still not been inside the church for many years. I had my kindergarten Christmas pageant in St. Laurentius, and that was the last time I remember being in the church. But the church is still a big part of our lives, a part of the school, and we want to see it saved if it can be. Remember the rule committee. I ask you to approve bill number 190058 and help our church and our school. This bill will allow St. Laurentius Church to be rezoned so that we can do what's best and safest for me and my classmates, the parish, and our neighbors. We know that this means we may not be able to continue using the church the way we used to, but it will be satisfying to know that we could still have St. Laurentius Church in a new way in our lives, and either way, we know that it's going to be alive in our hearts. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you. Thank you very much. What grade are you in?
Fifth.
Fifth. All right. I don't think I could have done that when I was in fifth grade. I'm not sure I could have done it in ninth grade, but anyway, Councilman Tauberberger, you have any?
Young man, trucker?
Yeah?
Yes. I have a comment for you.
Okay.
I have a
It's going to be
comment
good.
for
Don't
you.
worry about it. Don't worry about it.
I thought your testimony was really well done and well delivered. I thank you for coming here this morning to give us your viewpoint, because your viewpoint is a very important one. We're here because of the young people in many aspects. And I just want to finish up by saying I hope it's not the last time you come here before us to give us your thoughts on any subject that you ever want to think. That was well done.
Absolutely.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Now, I don't think anybody could give better testimony than he just gave, so I guess everybody else could be real short. Sir, please. And, who else? Why don't two other people take the chairs there so we can keep moving, okay? Please.
I have to admit, I'm loath to follow that excellent testimony. I can hardly do better. But I'm Paul Steinke, Executive Director of the Preservation Alliance for Greater Philadelphia. Good morning to the Rules Committee and Chairman Greenlee, Council Members Taubenberger, Blackwell, and Johnson. Thank you for having this hearing today. The Preservation Alliance supports the preservation of St. Laurentius Church in Fishtown and the passage of Bill number 190058. St. Laurentius has been an architectural landmark in its Fishtown neighborhood since its construction in 1890. Even though its use as a worship space ended several years ago, the preservation of this structure as a neighborhood icon is important to maintaining the identity and pride of the Fishtown community. Fortunately, a developer has come forward to make the investment necessary of time, money, and effort to convert this building into market rate housing. This is a strategy that has been proven and used successfully to preserve dozens of similar religious properties all across the city. The resulting project will not only preserve this important structure, but add almost 24 households to the community who will patronize local stores and restaurants and contribute to the vitality of the neighborhood and the city as a whole. Saving St. Laurentius Church will preserve it as a monument to the Polish-American Roman Catholic community that built it, and it will allow future generations to admire and appreciate a landmark that, let's face it, they just don't build anymore. We urge City Council to take the necessary action and move this bill forward so this project can also go forward. Thank you for your time and attention.
And you're right, they don't build them like this anymore.
They don't build them like this anymore, sir.
Please, please identify yourself and...
My name is Patricia Nelson. I am the grandparent and guardian of two
A
students.
little closer microphone.
I am the grandparent and guardian of two students at St. Laurentius. One of them is in Trucker's classroom and one is getting ready to graduate.
Okay.
She started there in first grade. I chose St. Laurentius due to the fact that it was a good school, it had good teachers and good programs. Every day, when our children get up in the morning, they don't know if they're going to be able to go to school because of this lawsuit and protest. We need this bill to be passed so that our children are comfortable going to school every day and that they know they have a school to go to. We as parents feel that the people who are protesting what the builder wants to do are not realizing what they are holding our children back from. And that's one of the biggest problems that we have. They don't have children in the school. Some of them don't even live in the area. So we cannot figure out why they are still doing this if the church itself is still going to be there. You're still going to be able to see those towering spires from I-95 as long as this builder is allowed to build. We need this to be passed quickly, and we need it to be done now so that our children know they have a school to go to. We're the last school in Fishtown. We need that school. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, thank you. All right, we had two more people. Whoever would like to go first?
Go ahead. Oh, sure, let me get up here.
You can pull that microphone, it moves.
Okay.
Yeah, pull it close. Just
All right.
identify yourself and proceed, please.
Sure. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today. My name's Jennifer Romanu. I'm a community member and a constituent that's supporting the rezoning of St. Laurentius Church for repurposing. The reason I support this is because the intention of those involved, the developers, is to maintain as much of the structure as possible, as we've already established. I trust that since a number of those involved are also residents of the community, they value the integrity of the neighborhood, which a lot of neighborhood development is lacking now. I think we've seen that. Residents of areas such as the River Wards areas, which spans multiple councilmaniac districts, have endured years of predatory development that has become increasingly irresponsible. Take, for example, a recent house collapse in Fishtown that was a direct result of greedy development. This was my grandparents' house of over 60 years. There are numerous accounts of homeowners having to bear the burden of costly repairs to their homes as a result of irresponsible investors in development and the contractors they hire. This is a result of agencies and departments having codes, rules, regulations, but no enforcement power for any other recourse to hold those responsible for these actions accountable. I'm here to support what I hope will be responsible development and investment in our neighborhood. It's time we as a city work to support responsible development and investment in our neighborhoods. I'm asking council not only to support this rezoning, but also consider to take further action to support our residents, especially those who have experienced the frustration of dealing with hardships caused by this irresponsible development, who are just seeking short-term investments in the neighborhood for financial gains. We need to make changes such as repealing the tax abatement. This is causing strife in our neighborhood, enacting harsh penalties on predatory developers, providing residents mechanism for recourse when they experience this, and providing enforcement power to the appropriate agencies. I thank you for the opportunity to address the group, and I urge you to work to enact some changes to really support our community. Thank you.
Thank you, and I'm sure the council president will keep, and all of us will keep working on those issues. I'm sorry, real quick, did you say that was your grandparents' house that collapsed?
Yep.
Oh, my.
Yep.
Sorry. I'm glad at least nobody was hurt, right?
Nobody was hurt.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean it's not going to happen.
No,
again.
no, I know. That had to be horrific. Sir?
Pretty much what she said. Good morning, council members, and thank you for bringing this bill to the table. My name is Aaron Wunsch. I teach historic preservation in the University of Pennsylvania, and I'm also the president of Repoint, a pro-preservation group in Philadelphia. We fully appreciate the desire to keep the church interior intact. That's the part of the building that parishioners, many of them, feel most connected to, and it's beautiful. It's also hard to love spot zoning. It's a workaround at best. But the situation at hand calls for pragmatism. In this tax-abated Wild West in which we're living, spot zoning is our best chance to keep this building standing. Unless and until council acts on the recommendations of the mayor's task force on historic preservation, we need to use the tools we have at hand. If we fail to do so, we should know that we are facilitating the demolition not only of this church, but others all across the city. There is no heroism in purism. It's time to get serious about church preservation in Philadelphia. Thank you for bringing us a step closer.
Okay, thank you. No other questions, comments? No one else here to testify? Okay, I think everybody's on the same page here. Very good, thank you. Thank you all for coming. Appreciate all the work you've done in your community. I know it's important. As a Catholic school graduate, I know how important your neighborhood school is. So again, thank you for all your efforts. Ms. Marconi, our final bill, please.
Bill number 180515, an ordinance amending section 14-303 of the Philadelphia Code entitled Common Procedures and Requirements to amend requirements regarding neighborhood notice and meetings, all under certain terms and conditions.
Mr. Gregorski.
Morning, Chairman Greenlee, members of the Rules Committee. I'm Marty Gregorski with the Philadelphia City Planning Commission, here to testify on bill number 180515, which was introduced in the City Council on May 17th, 2018 by Councilmember Johnson. Bill number 180515 amends section 14303 of the Philadelphia Code entitled Common Procedures and Requirements to amend requirements regarding neighborhood notice and meetings. The bill expands the radius for the definition of affected properties regarding the neighborhood notification that is required for all zoning appeals, special exceptions, and civic design review cases. Originally, this bill would double the radius from 250 feet from the edge of a property line to 500 feet from the edge of the property line. On average, this would triple the number of addresses to which applicants would be required to mail or hand-deliver a letter prior to being heard by a registered community organization, the Zoning Board of Adjustment, or the Civic Design Review Committee, sometimes adding more than 400 additional addresses to this list. The City Planning Commission considered Bill number 180515 at its meeting of September 18th, 2018, and unanimously recommended against its approval. However, after this meeting, staff worked with council office to significantly mitigate the impact of the notification area expansion to add only properties which are located on the same block as the subject property. This creates regulations that are logically consistent with the goals of the near neighborhood notification and addresses the concerns of the commission. With these changes made to the legislation, the staff recommends approval of the bill as amended, and I'd be happy to answer any questions at this time.
Thank you. And it's good to see everybody work together to work this out, and that's the way it's supposed to get done. Any question? Record reflect Councilwoman Bass, member of the committee, is present. Any questions for Mr. Gorski? I know there's someone else that wants to testify, but none for Mr. Gorski. Thank you. Ms. Marconi, who's our?
Charles Bodie.
Please come forward. Anyone else here to testify on this bill? 180515. Okay.
Thank you, council members. My name is Chuck Bodie. I'm with the West Pelton Saunders Park Registered Community Organization, and we have turned in on the table up front the letter we wrote to Councilman Blackwell last summer concerning this. I'm not going to read the letter. I'm just going to have a few thoughts. First, the notification should vary with the scope of the project, with the impact of the project. Our RCO has had projects that vary from a backyard shed, which was a few inches too big, to a 15-story office building. They have different impacts on the neighborhood and should have different notification requirements. So we say one size shouldn't be made to fit all. We also would like to suggest a more wide-ranging thought about this to consider the cost and the effectiveness. One applicant spent $1,000 to mail notices for a small project. Somebody else brought us the returns. 20% of the letters were returned, some of which are to occupied properties. We need to think about how we notify large property owners such as SEPTA. Where do we mail to SEPTA? Not to the local address. And the notice says posted in a multifamily building. How many actually got posted? We would like to suggest the notice needs to be effective. And there's one option or one suggestion that the sign regulations be amended. The RCO notices, RCO meters could be posted on the streetlight poles within so many feet of the building so people walking by might see the notice. And we thank you for the opportunity to testify.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Green, you'd like to say something? Please identify yourself and proceed.
Tiffany Green. I agree with my fellow RCO colleague. We talk a lot, quite a bit. And he's absolutely right in terms of the notification. But the main reason why is because when you go into civic design review, most likely that is a very large property, and so to only limit to like 250 feet is a real issue. And we think that it should be widened at least up to a 3 to 4 block radius. Okay, it comes in terms of standing and providing people with an opportunity. If they should decide to appeal, they should be able to be included in terms of notification and coming out for the CDR review or the Planning Commission review, okay? And that's another thing, which is Planning Commission. Planning Commission Planning Commission review should also be included in notification because that plays a very big role in terms of support when you come down here in City Council. So residents should be notified of that. It takes a lot of us to notify people to come down for Planning Commission meetings regarding different properties. The other thing I lost my train of thought. The other thing I want to talk about is, yes, regarding the notification from developers. We're seeing a definite decrease in the amount of African Americans coming out to this particular zoning meetings. They're not coming out at all. We believe the letter is just not, we don't think that the residents are understanding the letter. The letter is quite complicated. Yes, it does cover the bases, but when they read the letters, it seems like they don't really understand all that is going on regarding the public zoning meeting that, that's coming up in the community. And a lot of the residents, we've seen a definite decrease in the amount of participation among residents coming out to zoning meetings. Many of them do not come out, and I don't know what it is, but I think that there needs to be more. I think that the RCO should be able to help out a little bit more in terms of notifying the community to come out. It needs to be revamped, the notification far as residents is concerned, because we catch developers all the time who say they mail out and the people said they did not get it. Or the developer said they gave it out or they send it out through the mail and the people said they still didn't get it. So, and some of the developers admit that they did not send it out and then we have to have them come back again. Or if we do a continuance, who resends out to the public? If we have to have them come back 2 or 3 times, how they're not sending out to the residents again and again and again? So, I mean, it needs to be looked at. I'm sure this bill does not cover that, but we're asking City Council to really take a look at this notification. It's important that people are notified and be able to come out and have a voice and a vote regarding this zoning. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Councilwoman Blackwell?
Thank you. For Pelton Village and that whole area, we'll be in touch. We're happy to have a discussion on certain aspects of this issue. So we'll be in touch with you. I'll probably have Marty be in touch with you in that regard. And certainly Drexel, who was here as city planning, said the area is real small change to their master plan. And so we're happy to support.
Okay, thank you, Councilwoman.
Thank you.
Anyone else here to testify on bill number
Top one.
180515, sorry. No one else here? Okay, very good. That will conclude our public hearing of the Rules Committee, and we will momentarily go into a public meeting. Okay, we are now in our public meeting of the Rules Committee. We have a quorum, And the chair recognizes Councilman Johnson for motions on the amendments to the bills.
I move that bills number 191-064, 190058, and 180515 be moved as amended.
No, just as amended. Just
As-
move the amendments.
As amended.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, the amendments to those three bills are approved. Councilman Johnson?
I move that that the committee refer bills number 190-016, 191-064, and 190058 be referred out of committee.
No. You do all five. Councilman Johnson?
I move that bills number 160,
No, 190.
this is not clear on there.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. I move that bills number 190016, 190001, bills number 191064 as amended, and 190058 as amended, and bill number 180515 as amended be reported out of committee and the rules of suspension, rules of
Second.
council be suspended to be heard
On our next session.
at our next council session.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, the bills read by Councilman Johnson with the appropriate amendments will be reported out as committee favorably with a rule suspension for consideration on first reading on next session of council. That completes our Rules Committee today. Thank you all for your participation. Thank you for coming.